I ran out of space. I was not planning to talk about this movie for like 40 minutes. Oh well. I don't know where it's gonna cut off. I think the last thing I said was Frank is a stepper because he does like these little dances in his head, his little fantasies, and it's so cool. It's so nice to see. I'm gonna call him a monster because that's how he's phrased, but he's so the humanity of a character that's been basically shunned and rejected by humans is so sweet. Again, I relate to that character so much in all of the dumbest ways. The fact that I'm not gonna spoil that, but just there's so much about him that I saw in myself, especially in the way he like approached dealing with life. And I don't necessarily think it's a great thing or very admirable, but the biggest thing just being the way he was so down. He was, oh my god, he was so down for this little crazy. just I, I'm sorry. I know it's probably wrong and bad, but I kind of just want to be a puppy sometimes. Like I love a strong, heady, just because I'm strong, right? So like Frankenstein is he's chill now, but at one point he was a monster. He's big, he's towering. I'm not big and towering, but he is capable of things that a lot of the people around him aren't. I feel that same way. I can be pretty, I'm not going to say like about being mean or anything, but living, learning to adjust yourself to be gentle or to be calm or to be patient when one, that's not the environment you were created from or brought or developed as a person around, to kind of teach yourself that through work and dedication and having mentors, to it almost becomes like a suppressing feeling, you know? Like I said about him being a statue almost, you kind of learn to reject yourself and your humanity and escape into your head about, I love that train, and to escape into your head about your own feelings and your own desires. So to have that be brought out of you by someone who's so just like, hey, I'm gonna be me. You wanna come? Hell yeah, I wanna come. I haven't been me in like 10 years. Like, that's so, it's so challenging in all of the best ways. It's inspiring. I love to be inspired by people's strength. I love to be inspired by people's genuine, just fearlessness, or not even fearlessness. That's too strong of a word. Just people's existence is so beautiful to me because I spend a lot of time trying to not exist so that I wouldn't cause any trouble, or trying to not exist because I was ashamed of who I was. That to see someone else maneuver around that and not let it shake them, and to also not let them be shaken by my existence, is so powerful and important. I'm probably reading way too much into this movie and projecting. I know I'm projecting, absolutely. But there's just so much of it that I literally did not feel at any point bored or disinterested. I do have lowlights, but they're not. There's nothing that happened that made me go, man, I really wish I was doing something else, right? Like it was got, even the sex scene was good. There's a sex scene, but it's done in such a, it's not, I won't even say it's not like graphic. It's kind of graphic. It's kind of, it's a sex scene. It's not like a kiss and then a touch and then fade to black. Like they actually show them doing things to each other. But the way they do it, like, because I'm gonna spoil this. Sex between them was Ida's idea first. Like she kind of suggested, because she doesn't have her memory, but she knows she's done that. She suggests it, and she kind of just starts without Frank agreeing. Had that happen to me too, but but the way she does it, it scares him in a way. He's kind of put off by it, and she accepts that. She accepts that, right? And then they go through more events with each other. until again after they've learned to kind of open up to each other and accept that they want each other in each other's lives. They go for another sex scene, and this time she's taking the lead again, and he tells her slow down. That's probably the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in a movie. Like, he tells her to slow down, and she does. And they kind of meet at each other's pace, and they can. I don't mean to be doing this with my hands while I talk about a sex scene, but it just becomes something that most movies don't capture when they try to show that two people are romantically and emotionally in love. Or, yeah, romantically, emotionally, and physically into each other. It's not very blatant, and just it's just beautiful, dog. It really is. The parts I didn't like, the Mary Shelley, all of her introductions were kind of whack. The voice in the head thing, it was fine. At like the first, I think, minute of the movie, she has a monologue. I didn't really catch it because I was trying to post a story to my Instagram, but she says, "Here comes the motherfucking bride." I rolled my eyes so hard at that, and that was the beginning of the movie, so that kind of, I was expecting a downfall from there, but that was honestly probably the only line in the movie that was bad and felt like it didn't need to be there. Any other, I don't think there were any other bad lines, but any other bad lines were excused by, yeah, that's exactly what this character should say right now, or I totally get why we are hearing that from this person. It helps us identify what kind of weirdo they are. Like, that was all pretty done. There's a scene on a train. Hated that. It was whack. It was kind of, I don't know, it felt rushed. Okay. There is a lot of like, there's some blatant assault in terms of like, physical stuff. There's some blatant harassment of women. It is so gross. Not gross as in like risque or explicit. It's just so weird. It'll be like a random feel, or like somebody will, or like stroke her hair, and it's just that is so hard to watch for me. It's just so cringy and off-putting. I completely understand why it's there. So it's not like a full low light. It made me really uncomfortable. At one point, there is like a little revolution amongst the women. I won't really say why, but I didn't like the way, because it involves makeup. I didn't like that everyone put on the same pattern. That looked dumb. It just looked uncreative. There's a word for that that's better than uncreative. I'm trying to work on my vocabulary as well, but it just looked stupid. Have them all put their mark in the same exact way. It was like whatever. That was really nitpicky, but that was done. And then I do like, yeah, I put this in lowlights, but it's actually a highlight. The subtlety of everything in this movie is really well done. So like I say about the mistreatment of women, it's very, they have the on the nose stuff, but then they also have the kind of more hidden, not hidden, but the more easy to miss. Like, if you haven't talked to women and kind of learned to understand the ways they feel slighted in certain situations, or just observed somebody disrespecting a woman in a kind of covert, almost unintentional, but still entirely valid, what's the word, not valid, unintentional, but still very, like, no, you did this. You may not have meant to, but you did this. If you haven't really learned to see that, it kind of goes under the radar. And I think this movie did a good job of like not being too heavy-handed with the, hey, things suck for women. Like, I hate when movies put their message as like it's punching you in the face every 2 scenes. Like, damn near every black comedy out right now, it's just, hey, we gotta constantly remind you about this oppression or this problem or this. This movie doesn't do that, and it was great. I get, the only thing I have to say now is like, I think it would have been really fun to see as like a play, or like I don't know, what do you call a play? A musical? Not a musical. This isn't a musical. It felt like it at times, but this isn't a musical. I'm not really sure if I understood like Frank and Ida's influence on people. Like, it's sometimes they watch movies in the movie. Sometimes you could see like them impose themselves onto the scene that they're watching in the movie, and people would react. I don't know if like they're magical or something. There's a part where they kind of, I guess, possess people into moving a certain way, and I don't know if it's in their head or because something happens before and after that. So I don't know if it's like all in their head or if it's an actual influence that they have. Maybe their love is just so strong it knows no bounds. But that was a little confusing. I do like what I take as the overall message being like, you can't wait for someone to make you complete, and you also can't create someone. You can't put your completion onto another person's existence. And I think that ties into the commentary about like the treatment of women in American society for so long, where I want children, I want a wife, so I'm gonna put those attributes in that title onto a woman, not really considering, hey, this is a whole person. This isn't like a tool for your, I think that was pretty good. The idea of like love involving bringing life into two people, not just compatibility, because compatibility is great, but what's compatibility if you don't have effort? Nothing. You're just two people who are chill. Like, you can get along all day, but if no one's gonna shake something, nothing's gonna get stirred. I just made that up. That was beautiful. I love the dichotomy of the characters. She teaches him to excel. Ida teaches Frankenstein to exhale, and Frankenstein teaches Ida to breathe, to slow down. It's so dope. Like, at one point, Frank even says to her, there's nothing left to do now but live. And I kind of wanted the movie to end right there, just let them ride off into the sunset. And because I went into this not knowing, seeing written and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal at the end just stamped it as, oh, she knows what she's doing. I had only ever seen her in Batman, where she was kind of not garbage. I'm not gonna call her garbage, but she was just Jake Gyllenhaal's sister, and she's been that ever since for me. So to see what she did with this movie was, I want to find a word other than beautiful, but I can't. That's the only thing that keeps popping into my head. It's such a well written, well done, well executed, well shot, well acted. It's 10 out of 10 for me. I want to watch it again immediately. I want to watch it like personally, where I can stop and pause and actually experience it strictly through my mind instead of just in the movie theater. I kind of like going back to seeing movies as they are exposed. I love pausing a movie as much as anyone else, but I kind of miss the idea of, hey, you have to pay attention and you have to process things at the movie's pace, so that you aren't just able to sit down and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna figure out the plot in the first 15 minutes because I paused and rewatched this scene for 2 hours. Like, I really like having to absorb a movie and then think about it while still being fed information. It's like putting a story together. I'm putting a puzzle together right now. It's like putting a puzzle together, but you don't get to see the pieces in the box. You just get handed pieces one by someone else. I think that's really fun. So I'm gonna keep doing this, especially since my computer crapped out on me. So yeah, that's it. I don't know. I just wanted to ramble because I've been doing this for too long. Going to see a movie and then thinking about it for 3 days straight, thinking about what I would have done differently. This all started because I saw Avatar 3, and I thought about that movie for probably a week straight and I had so many ideas that I had to. Yeah, that's all. And this, because I'm out of space and I've been talking and it's loud and it's late and I want to shut up. So